Welcome to the Beantown Podcast. This is Quinn David Furness. I am the host, creator, best boy, and social media influencer of the Beantown Podcast, the People's Podcast, one of Baltimore City's top 500 podcasts. What's going on? Coming to you live from 817 St. Paul Street, joined today by my very special guest. That's what they used to say about Ryan back in middle school. Very, very special. Ryan, Ligon and Kristen English, co-host of the Car Ride Convos Podcast, driving all the way down from Boston to be here in Beantown today. Ryan and Kristen, thank you for coming on the podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
That's all we prepared. So, the listener discretion is advised when you are listening to the Beantown Podcast. Number one, we will occasionally use some language that is less than desirable, that work wouldn't be too happy about. Work listened to my podcast last week. We had a big meeting on social media and kind of your online presence, since we're representatives of the university. And, I advertise my podcast with posters around the office, and apparently one of our managers went and listened to it. So fingers crossed she listened to a good episode. Seriously, because there are a lot of bad episodes. Not bad like I'm going to get fired, just like bad quality. Number two, the podcast is objectively terrible, as work found out this past week. So nothing to worry about work. It's just a bad podcast. So anyways, what's happening? It is Saturday, August 11th, 2018. This is our 31st episode, I think. I was just doing the math because I had a friend who started listening to the podcast this past week, and she said, I'm going to listen the whole way through. And, it's like the bombing of Britain upstairs. It's like the opening scene of Narnia. And I was doing the math. I think with episodes and specials, this episode is pretty much going to take us close to the 24-hour mark. So if you're starting from the beginning, you've got exactly 1 day's worth of podcasts to listen to. But anyways, it's been a fun year, and we're still going strong. Well, we're going, not necessarily strong, but we're going. Anyways, Ryan and Kristen drove down from the Boston area to be here. Yesterday, they had a nice, quick, painless drive along 95. You guys want to talk a little bit more about your road trip, the ups and downs, and everything in between?
Well, let's see. Start off the morning kind of late, as usual. And basically, we got out of bed way later than we thought. It was like 10:30, I think, in the morning. Yeah, and we were like, oh yeah, we'll leave by 11. Well, that didn't happen. So, roughly when these things happen, it takes about 7-8 hours to get down here, typically, if you're looking just at maps. But when you get to New York and New Jersey, those plans are going to change. So, took about 9-10 hours.
Saw a lot of weird things on the way.
Yeah.
Traffic was a bitch, to say the least.
Yes.
And
car exploded.
Yeah, the pinnacle was definitely the ball of flames that took place on the other side of the highway as we were driving down 95.
Exactly.
And we just knew from there that it couldn't get much worse.
It can't.
Except for when we hit the detour in New York and we went off. I don't know, maps is like, oh, this will be faster, and it added 40 minutes to our time.
It was not faster at all. We should have just stayed on the highway. I don't get it, man. Maybe I should switch to Waze. I don't know. I don't know.
People, when I talk to people who are like big on Waze, they're always because, it gives you real-time updates. But I think Google Maps is like advanced enough to where they do that now.
I know.
So
It's Google.
I've never used Waze. I don't know like what the upside is to it, but
Is Waze a... I don't know what Waze is. Is that a Google equivalent?
Yeah, I think it's just like the same thing as like MapQuest, Google Maps, live time, like traffic updates. And I know a bunch of people who swear by it. I don't know in 2018 why it's better for any reason than like Google Maps. Maybe
Google
it
will
is,
get a handle of it and just like, they're already way ahead of the curve right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like it's so I don't know.
We were saying how it is kind of weird though, because I typically use just Apple Maps, because I didn't want to download the Google thing because I only have 16 gigs on my little iPhone 6s. So we were just saying how we almost feel like Maps is to the point that it's so ingenious that it's too much because it tries to find all these detours and it doesn't know what it's doing. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, this actually screwed you over really bad. And I'm sorry, but now you're stuck here.
Yep.
It's like when Michael drives his car into the lake on The Office.
Yeah. Exactly.
It knows.
It knows.
You guys have any good food on your way down, like Sparrow Pizza or Chipotle or something unique to that Northeastern experience?
That was a sad story because I feel like one thing that we've also said many a time, because at one point when I was traveling from Syracuse, or I had a travel assignment in Syracuse, New York, and I was driving back to Boston almost every weekend, which is like a 4.5-hour drive. And we were just mentioning how there's not very many, like, the Midwest I feel like is just cram full of plazas, an oasis, or whatever you want to call it, depending on what part of the country you're in. And there's a part of Massachusetts for sure where you have like one, and then there's not one for another like 2 or 3 hours.
Upstate New York is pretty dead. I don't know what is it, if it's 90 or which highway it is that goes like by Syracuse. But I remember I drove from Chicago to Boston one time, and there's just like nothing there in upstate New York, and like no highway exits for like 20 miles.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just not what you expect.
Yeah. And the one that we decided to stop at because I was starving was one that had a Roy Rogers, which
is a dumpster fire of like all food,
trash food,
instant diarrhea.
Yeah. Cinnabon, which
not terrible, but not good road food.
I mean, and then a Nathan's, which is hot dogs, which was like advertising all these like chili, cheese, bacon ranch, something.
Perfect for the car.
Right.
Yes,
I mean, that's what we were saying is that all this food, like, this is just a disaster waiting to happen. Like, why do they not have food that's actually travel worthy? But
yeah.
So we decided to stop there. Kind of found a little marketplace that had like just like safe like sandwiches and like
safe sandwiches.
Safe sandwiches. And I got just like hummus and pretzels or something.
Yeah.
But then the very next stop, Ryan was devastated because pretty much stop after stop, they had a Pizza Hut Express, which is like his favorite thing because personal pan pizzas is like his jam. And he was just torn up about it the rest of the way.
God himself curates the Pizza Hut Expresses around the United States and blesses them with his eternal blessings, okay? And I had to settle for a turkey cheddar Dijonnaise sandwich, which, you know, on paper sounds great, but when it comes served on the first recipe of bread created by mankind, that's stale as King Tut himself. And the Dijonnaise is literally 99 parts whole grain mustard and 100th parts mayonnaise. Is it even Dijonnaise or is it just mustard? Okay, and then, I mean, it was dry. It was, let's just say it was dry.
Well, walk me through a little bit more this fascination with Pizza Hut Express. Where did that come from?
You know, there's something super nostalgic about, I mean, you can take me to any pizza place, the best in the world, you know, and it's great. I love really good pizza. It's really great. But nothing is more beautiful than a stuffed crust Pizza Hut pizza.
Yeah.
And second to that is a Pizza Hut personal pan. You either got to go supreme or pepperoni.
Oh,
You either got to go everything on it or classic. If you can beg them to put the pepperonis on the supreme, you're a legend. Ooh. It's never happened for me before. But I've heard rumors. There are multiple threads on 4chan that I've seen where it's happened.
My nostalgia comes from Book It.
Yes.
And
yes.
Going to Pizza Hut, and I know a lot of people, you know, they always have these niche places like, oh, this specific pizza place, and it's like local to that area is like the best pizza ever. And to some degree, I still am like a garbage human and really, really enjoy Pizza Hut pizza. And specifically, we're really attached to stuffed crust pizza because it is really good. But their pan pizza is also good. And the personal pan pizza, because they seem to be a rare find nowadays, is like a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And passing them one after another after we had been at that one plaza that was just garbage
that
food.
Caramelized, oily crust. I mean, there's fewer things, okay? Sure. Cocaine. Sex. Personal pan pizzas from Pizza Hut Express. There is no more list.
That is the pinnacle.
That is the pinnacle of humanity. The triangle of
a utopia.
That is what utopias are built on: cocaine, sex, and personal pan pizzas from Pizza Hut Express.
Well, as someone who's only experienced one of those things, I can't really attest to how good Pizza Hut or sex is. So, anyways, did you guys have any restaurants in Rockford growing up, like not Pizza, but like actual Rockford restaurants that you were like favorite places to go to or go-tos, or I don't know? Did you have anything like that?
Well, I mean, this is still on the same thing as pizza. In Roscoe, they have Pietro's. Did you ever have Pietro's?
I never
pizza?
had Pietro's, no.
Pietro's was a gold mine. And the thing is, like, once we haven't lived in Rockford for like 5.5 years now. Mm-hmm. But I feel like right when we were leaving, it started to pick up. People started to like kind of find this, like, you know, how great that place was, because it really was so inexpensive too. It kind of my favorite thing to get was like their pan pizza, which was really like just like super, super deep dish, like deliciousness, pepperoni, black olive pizza. And it was like, what? Like, I don't know, $12 or something.
Cheap.
Like, and it was huge.
Yeah.
So that definitely was a staple for me.
Yeah, a staple for me would be across the street from Temple Baptist and State Street Station, which was the local strip club, was this place called Ground Round.
Yes!
It was so good. It had the best kids menu in all of Rockford. And so you'd top off the night. So you just, anything off that glorious kids menu, you know you're going to be killing it.
I think it burned down, didn't it?
It did. It eventually did. Rest in peace. You know, the world will never be the same. But for dessert, you got a free kids gummy worm Oreo sundae. I think they were called like mud pies or something.
Yeah.
And they were served, or maybe it was the ice cream. Maybe there was two different things I'm talking about. But one of them was served in a plastic MLB baseball helmet bowl that you could keep for yourself.
In Rockford?
In Rockford. And they only had two teams, and it was either the Cleveland Indians or the Baltimore Orioles.
What?
That's the only one.
Bullshit.
You would never get a Cubs one even if you tried. And those are the only two teams.
That's so Rockford.
It's so Rockford. But it was so great, and then it burned down, and then my life would never be the same.
My mom literally, we pulled into Hallstrom one Tuesday morning, and she's like, I don't want to be here. Do you want to leave? And I was like, okay. And we went to have lunch at the Ground Round and then just went home. It was probably one of the greatest days of my life.
Any day at the Ground Round is a great day.
Yeah, I know.
We used to go to Lino's
Lino's
we weren't allowed to trick or treat growing up.
Okay.
And so Halloween we would always go to Lino's and then go to Toys R Us, rest in peace, to get a Game Boy game or something. But yeah, I remember growing up, just because of the way like the infrequency that we went there, like once a year, it was a tradition. I always thought Lino's was like the greatest Italian place on earth, and it's like $12 for like spaghetti or something, which is like cheaper than Olive Garden now. So I mean, it was still a solid place, but after having gone to some other Italian places, I think Lino's probably isn't as great as I thought it once was. But
what Game Boy games did you play?
Oh man, well, my fondest memory is Pokemon Gold.
Oh.
I bought that myself, and the tragic story, which I probably mentioned one other time on the podcast, was one time I was... Oh, no, this wasn't that time. But, okay, there was one time I was playing Pokemon Blue, and one of my brothers was holding the video camera, and the other one snuck up and ripped out the game cartridge.
No.
Which is like one of the meaner things that my brothers ever did to me.
Oh my God.
But then Pokemon Gold, it gets worse because they just hid it in our house one day and they refused to tell me where it was.
No.
And, you know, years and years later we've moved. No one lives in Rockford anymore, so Pokemon Gold is lost forever.
That's terrible.
My sister had
disappointing.
The blue one, and I remember, like, I didn't really know how Game Boys worked at the time, and she was, like, really far into the game. And at the time, I think you could only have one story going at once.
Oh, absolutely.
And I put it in, and they're like, oh, do you want to continue a story? And it's like, no, I want to start my own. But I thought hers was supposed to be saved, and that was not a good day.
No wonder your sister hates you.
But then I got the red one, which was mine, and then we didn't have a problem. And then later on, I think was there like a platinum one or something?
There was. There's
I don't remember what mine was
I'm sure
called.
there's a Pokemon Platinum at some point. Yeah.
It was
it
was a Game Boy Color version of whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but
I used to play I would play Crystal.
Yeah.
And then later on I got Yellow, which is old school from that. And then I would play my brother's Game Boy Advance and play Golden Sun, which is like probably one of the best games I've probably ever played before. It's really great.
What type of game is it? I've never heard of Golden
It's an
Sun.
RPG, and basically it's like a turn-based where you get into like a battle with like a thing, and you have to fight it, and you have all these moves, and you have like a magic person, and you have like a person that's good at defense and a person that's good at healing and like all this stuff, and it's like it's great. I don't know, it's one of the better games out there. It reminds me of Final Fantasy and stuff like that. I don't know, I was a nerd growing up, so
It's for Game Boy Advance.
I think it was like the game released with Game Boy Advance that was like, here's Golden Sun with the game, so I don't know, it's pretty cool.
We had a like an old school Game Boy that I think my cousin gave us because he was a big gamer guy. And then we both got our Game Boy Pockets, like used Game Boy Pockets from a GameStop, which was a huge deal. And then I had like a Game Boy Advance and then like a Game Boy or Nintendo DS, which I guess is kind of a different, well, sort of the same thing, but different. But I feel like my Game Boy Pocket was like my jam. Like that was like, I had a blue one. It was super small. It didn't have the light, like the backlit feater, which is so funny to think like that was so revolutionary when that came out. That came out originally with the Game Boy Advance. What was it called?
The DS?
I don't think it was DS. The initials. Do you remember the name of that one? It was like a square, and then it opened like this.
I thought that was the DS.
No, the DS was the one that has like the pen and everything.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's like the
SP.
Oh,
Game Boy
yeah,
Advance SP.
something like that. Yeah, that was. My mom actually got one of those because she played a lot of Game Boy.
Oh yeah, like the surgery game and stuff.
Well, she didn't play that, but
oh,
she had like a lot of the old school games like Donkey Kong and Galaga maybe and Pac-Man and stuff like that. Like she loved playing those games.
Wow, those are great.
Yeah.
We used to have something my dad bought from Kmart, probably like $20, and is it's a little like gaming console with a joystick, so it's meant to like replicate an arcade game, and you plug it right into your TV.
I remember those.
And you play. We had one. It's called like Nintendo Arcade or something like that, and it had Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man, I don't remember which one. Pole Position, which is like an old school racing game. It had Galaga, and there's another one that's similar. It's like Galactica or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it had Dig Dug, which is another classic arcade game. Mappy, which is a game that we never knew about until we got it. And then it had this other game. It's like a flying scroll shooter game. I'll have to look up what it was. But my brother Jack was always really good at it. But we spent a lot of time just like sitting on the floor in our basement watching someone play it on the TV, and yeah, those were a lot of fun. And we would come down late at night sometimes. My dad would be playing and like eating a bowl of cereal because this was stuff he played like in the arcade in the 70s when he was growing up. And I think that was a type of gift that kept on giving for him because he got it for super cheap.
The flying squirrel game that you had, was it like a 2D? You're in a little airplane. You kind of go up and down and shoot stuff. Yeah, I've been trying to find the game forever because I think PlayStation. I think it was a PS1 game. They had like these two version games that you could rent from Family Video, and it had like a collection. It was similar to that. It had a collection of like these classic games, and I had never seen that one, but that was like my favorite out of all of them, and I haven't been able to find it since.
Wow. Yeah.
Now we're on the Google machine trying to figure out what it's called. I'm sure my brothers are listening to this right now, and they're just shouting at the computer because they know exactly what it's called, but I can't remember what it is.
I don't even know. I don't even know what it is.
It was like a one-word type of game. It starts with like an N or something. It's like Nexus, but that's not what it is. Anyways.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I've been meaning to ask you this. And, just let me know if this is just too much, but I gotta know, okay?
Uh-oh.
All right? Just tell me if it's too much, man. Okay?
I don't like where this is going. This is live air,
How was your time at Kmart? I know you worked there for a while. What's the craziest story?
I was worried you're gonna like bring up some weird sex story.
No. What's the craziest thing you ever saw happen at Kmart? Because it was off Harrison, right?
No. There are 2 Kmarts in Rockford. There's one on Sandy Hollow.
It's
like Sandy Hollow and 11th Street.
Yeah, okay.
Which is like really janky.
Oh.
I never worked at that one.
Oh, okay, good, okay.
I worked at the East State one, which I think is closing in like a week or something.
Okay.
I'm still friends with a bunch of people who I worked with on Facebook. But no, I got a job at Kmart right after I turned 16. So like April 2011. And I worked there until I left for college. I actually didn't quit until after my first month of college, so October 2013. So I worked there for 2.5 years. I was a cashier the whole time, which is uncommon because the cashiers were usually like the high school girls. And high school guys were usually like shelf stockers, like working in the back, that sort of thing. So I was kind of a novelty there, which was actually kind of cool because like all the customer service, like older ladies loved me. But it was okay. I mean, I was making probably like $7.50 an hour or something, which back then was like okay, better than detasseling.
Yes.
And it was air conditioned, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I came in and kind of like was pretty strict to following the rules at first, and then eventually the system was so broken to where like the prices never matched up. And everything was just a pain in the ass. And so eventually, what you'd have to do if you had to change the price on something, which happened all the time with things being on sale, was you'd have to get a manager's code.
I hate
and
that.
usually there'd be like one person in the entire store.
Yeah.
And they'd be like in the back on a phone call. And you might be one of 2 registers open.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 other people in your line. So
Yep.
it's like people get really pissed. So eventually I just started memorizing manager codes. I don't know what the statute of limitations on this stuff is, but the store's closing soon, so
Yeah.
that's good. So once I sort of started doing that, it made my life way easier because then I just like got super corrupt. And not that I was like just randomly giving people discounts. It's not what I was doing, but I just like didn't have to wait for anybody, which was really nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I don't know. Overall, it was good. I'm trying to think if there's anything like super crazy that happened. You just get used to dealing with like people who are not mentally all there, and I mean, place like that, the turnover rate is super high. Like by the time I left, I think I'd been there like the 4th longest out of
Wow.
every employee in the store, and I'd been there for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Which makes sense. I mean, you're making like $8 an hour. You can't live very well on that. So
Yeah, seriously.
yeah, I don't know. It was. I'm trying to think if I had any really good stories. I had a weird romantic thing with one of the girls who was like a customer service person. We're still
Nice.
Facebook friends, so we used to go over to her house. She lived right by the river on the east side,
Okay.
kind of like in the downtown area, and she was really into Judge Judy.
Oh,
So
yes.
I would go over there. I would skip calculus because I just like didn't care about that class. In my afternoons, go over there with Judge Judy, get some Hot Pockets.
Nice.
Just
I love Hot Pockets.
I don't even know if we ever kissed. We just like lied in bed and watched Judge Judy and ate Hot Pockets and like slept, which was actually fine as a high schooler because you're like playing sports all the time. You just want to sleep. So
That's amazing.
yeah, no, it was fun. I'm still Facebook friends with some of the people who I worked with while I was at Kmart. And yeah, my intention was after I left for college was to keep working there so I could come back in like December and work a bunch of holiday hours. But this is a funny story. So what HR told me is you have to work 1 shift a month to like stay on as an employee. So my plan, my first month away and in future months was just like come back 1 weekend out of the month, which was inconvenient because it's like a 2-hour drive to do it. But I was like, I can do this. Work a 5-hour shift. It'll be fine. Be able to keep my job. So the first month I did it was September of 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I came back on a Saturday, like a month after I started college. And I had told my HR person well in advance that, okay, this was the day I'm coming back. This is the day I'm working my shift, whatever. And I got there for opening. It was like 7 a.m. And they didn't have me on the shift. And nobody knew that I was coming in. But I wasn't about to be like, I guess I'm just going to reschedule. Like, no, I'm here. I came home from college for this. And so I realized nobody, including the manager, like on call who was there, knew I was there. So at first I was like, okay, I'm just going to go like rearrange some shelves. I did that for like 2 hours. And then I got really bored, and I didn't want to like go up to customer service and be like, okay, put me on a register. I'm here to work, because I hated working. So I went into the bathroom. I went into the men's bathroom, went into the stall for 3 hours. I like sat on the toilet and just like texted or something. I don't remember what I did. I didn't have a smartphone or anything.
Yeah.
I might have like grabbed a magazine from the checkout. And then after it had been 5 hours, I snuck out, got in my car and went home. And I decided, no, I don't want to do this again. So that was it. That was my last shift at Kmart. I sat on the toilet for like 3 hours.
That's amazing, actually.
Wow. That's legendary.
like,
yeah, that's next level, dude.
Nobody really knew I was there. So
You were after my time, but I got chased out of that location of Kmart one time.
Great.
Yeah.
Why?
Here's a story. We all go through periods of time in our lives where we like, let's be high schoolers and let's go do some epic pranks, Let's
Sure.
go all that stupid stuff. So we were like, all right. So there's this wheelchair out in the middle of nowhere. I think it was in like a Walmart parking lot or something, just like rogue by itself. And we're like, let's load this thing up and let's take it over to Kmart. How crazy awesome would that be? We don't know what we're going to do. We were obviously idiots. But so me and my buddy Paul go into Kmart, and I'm in the wheelchair, and he is pushing me around and all this stuff. And we go up to one of the registers, and all of a sudden we just both just jump up. I jump up out of the wheelchair, and he follows me, and we just run out of the store. And this cashier guy started chasing us. And I was like, dude, why are you chasing us? And he's like, oh, I thought you guys stole something.
God.
The dumbest prank ever played in human history.
Yeah.
So stupid. But that's just what we did. We did stupid. It was all about, like, whenever I was growing up, it's all about being random and, like, being, like, odd and, like, weird and stuff like that. And it just, like, you look back on it and you were like, no, that's stupid. Like, what were you thinking? So, yeah, that's my experience with that Kmart location. And I dared not set foot in the Sandy Hollow one because I heard some crazy stories about, because it was right across the street from a trailer park, if I'm not mistaken.
South Rockford there is not a super nice area.
Yeah. I've experienced with like hookers flagging me down there, and they looked jankety.
11th Street, baby.
Yeah.
It's the place to be. We were just talking about that last night.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, the hookers on 11th Street.
Sounds like an actual name of a business. Like it's like a coffee shop or something. Hookers on 11th Street. I feel like I saw a commercial for that or something.
Exactly.
There used to be that. We'd always drive past when we go to swing dancing at St. Edward's. There was like, it had a jingle on TV. It's one of those coffee places that's like just a little tiny like narrow thing along the side of the road. You just like go through the drive-through.
Yeah,
and it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
have a cup of coffee at Cubby's or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it had a really irritating like commercial on TV. And I just remember always driving past that right by Doughboy Donuts.
Yeah,
on
they
11th
have
Street.
they have those in Seattle, except for girls working their like the baristas work in their underwear and stuff like that.
Sounds like a
and it was like the same
place
sort of
to be,
setup.
yeah.
I mean, it was really really weird.
Sounds like hookers on 11th Street.
Sounds like hookers on 11th Street, exactly.
There were a lot of those places in Alaska. You go to like Anchorage, there are plenty of like established coffee places, but then just along the side of the road, along like the 12 highways in Alaska, it's a lot of just those types of like drive-through places. So
Yeah.
I found out, okay, so it wasn't Nintendo Arcade, it was Namco Arcade. Namco is another like arcade game.
Yeah.
And I found an Amazon one for sale on Amazon going for $329.
Wow.
The good news is it's Prime, free one-day shipping.
Oh,
so,
thank God.
but the games on it include this. I don't think this was the exact one we had because I don't remember all these games, but it had Rally X, which I don't know anything about, Dig Dug, which I mentioned, Pac-Man, Busconian, which I don't know anything about, Galaxian, and then Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Mappy, Pole Position, and Xevious was the name of the fly and shoot game. This is what it looked like. Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't what I was
Okay.
thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, you could there are enemy ships that would fly at you. You shoot them, but then you also had bombing capabilities. You have to bomb the things on the ground, and I think you could beat the game because there's a final boss, and I was never good enough to get there. But I think my brother Jack probably did before. But I'm sure you could go play an online simulator. You could play Xevious online. I know I was playing. I was playing Dig Dug online a couple weeks ago because I wasn't doing anything at work, of course. But yeah, no, we got off track. I've been zoned out the last 5 minutes. I haven't been paying attention, but
No, it's fine.
yeah, no, those Kmarts are going out of style, unfortunately. Oh, we were at a Kmart in Washington State over vacation, and I think there were 7 people in the store, and yeah, it's pretty depressing. It's not much left. So that was one of the jokes I told on the roast when we were introducing my dad. It's because he's worked for Sears/Kmart for 30 years, and he's finally transitioning out of that role. But the joke was that he's got interviews lined up at Blockbuster, Circuit City, and Radio Shack. And Kodak's coming to poach him. So, yeah. Poor dad. He's finally out. I don't know. This podcast got away from me. I think I needed more vodka.
It's off the rails, man.
This podcast has been lit. Yeah. Well, Jack Links, we should mention you if you're out there. I would love to have you. We drinking the vodka tonic from the Jack Links cup last night, which was new territory. Last night I actually had tried a vodka tonic 3 days ago, and then last night was the first time I'd ever had one of my own. So pretty good. I see the appeal of it. The lime is in there. I bought my first lime last night, so this is just all sorts of groundbreaking stuff for Quinn David Furness. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. You guys, so I mentioned at the outset, Kristen and Ryan are co-hosts of Car Ride Convos Podcast, which is a pretty big deal, I would say. You guys have anything coming up on the podcast that you want to advertise, or what's going on there?
Just right now, we're still working through our summer upload schedule. We try to get them up every Wednesday when we can and stuff like that. We just finished our big regrouping and stuff, trying to get ahead of the content wheel. I'm sure we'll go back to Saturdays during the fall. I don't know. We'll see what's up. Everything's up in the air. The only thing we're really focused on right now is Elon Musk. If you're listening to this, along with Jack Links, we're looking for sponsorships, okay? We know that Tesla pays $0 a year in marketing. Can you just pay just a little bit of money to just, give us a vehicle to record our podcast in? We're looking for a new studio. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah. So give us a ring. We know things are tough at Tesla right now. You're talking about going private, a lot of scrutiny. You're acting crazy. Give us a ring. You know where to find us.
Yeah. Same goes for you, Jack Links. I know you guys are looking to go private, and I don't know what that stuff means, but it's a rallying point. Hey, you guys, Ryan, you brought up, and it was all over the news today, that guy who stole that plane at SeaTac, and he crashed. Rest in peace. So this begs the question: if you were going to steal a plane, what type of plane would you steal?
Wow. Do I know any planes?
Well, I'd want to get one of those Concords, because they're pretty fast.
Those Concords, I missed out of commission in 07, 06 or something like that.
Remember at the end of The Parent Trap when Dennis Quaid is like, you can go on the Concorde and it'll get there super fast. Because he flies all the way to London and he beats Natasha Richardson home, and now she's dead. And Liam Neeson is a widower.
Well, yeah, didn't she get eaten by a bear or something like that?
Fatal skiing accident.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very different than fatal bear accident.
Like a subdural hematoma or something.
Yeah.
Wow, that's brutal. Yeah, so if I were to steal any plane, it would probably be the SR-71 Blackbird, probably.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that thing is so fast. The CIA used it, so there's all sorts of government secrets in there and stuff. I'm sure I could find out more about Obama tapping, and maybe I can finally disable that Obama kill switch,
Yeah. Yeah, no comment there. All truth. We speak truth on this podcast. I don't know, Kristen, what about you? You more like a Wright Brothers type of lady, or
I would steal any private jet that the Kardashians were currently on, so I could just announce over the speaker, like, "Hey, this ship is going down unless if I call Kanye and get like a $200 million ransom for all you bitches."
Oh my.
Or his next mixtape.
Yeah, get something out of it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't really necessarily guarantee I'd land the thing, but I mean, it'd be great to just say that I did it.
You guys
Exactly.
are so freaking entrepreneurial.
I know.
First you make a multi-million-dollar podcast, and now you're getting ransoms from stealing planes.
Exactly.
This is good stuff.
Seems like a good plan.
Yeah, well, Trump's super obsessed. I think it's the F-14 fighter jet. He keeps talking about how invisible it is, and I don't think he quite understands exactly how that stuff works. But
I know.
maybe with Space Force, we'll finally have truly invisible planes. That's the future. Yeah. Think of once Obama gets his hands on Space Force, he's gonna start wiretapping the planets and stuff. And,
I know.
You know, people talk about moving to Canada. You won't even be able to move to Mars to get away from Obama tapping.
I know.
He's probably already there. That's probably what Matt Damon was doing in The Martian. He was setting up Obama tapping. So.
And then when he was in the sequel, Interstellar,
Yeah.
they found him on a different planet.
Exactly. He's just he's an agent of the empire, the Obama empire. Yeah.
He's tapping the whole galaxy.
Yeah. It's a shame. Well, I don't know. You guys got anything else you need to plug while you're here?
We have absolutely nothing else to plug.
Excellent.
Agreed.
This podcast was prepared, marinated for hours, wrote a lot of stuff, if you couldn't tell already. That's about all I got. We're looking to potentially have our Uncle Andy, Jack Link's employee, on next week. He wanted to record today, and unfortunately we couldn't do it because we were recording this podcast. So we're going to try to get him on. We're going to probably be doing some fantasy football action coming up soon here, maybe a live mock draft on the podcast. I don't know. That could be a good idea. And then I had a new subscriber from the Vancouver area give me this suggestion. She says that I should watch series finales of TV shows, but of TV series that I've never seen before, and just commentate on the series.
That is the greatest idea I've ever heard in my entire life.
That is really good.
So I'm going to have to get in touch with her to see which series she thinks would be good to talk about. But
you know what would be a good one to watch? I'm sure you've seen it. But watch the series finale of Dexter.
That's what
I
was thinking.
haven't seen it.
No, but you'd realize that like nothing, you're like, it'd be so boring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what's the hook? You know what I'm saying? Like what's like the
finale is literally the worst episode.
No, I know,
of
but
the whole series.
even that, I mean, like there's just nothing you could get. It's like it'd be like watching The Godfather. Oh, not The Godfather. What's
Sopranos?
The Sopranos? Sorry, not The Godfather. The other one, The Sopranos. That one, and just being like, okay, what was that?
Yeah, right.
I have no idea.
It's so entertaining.
Lost is another good one.
I've seen Lost, so I don't think I'd be able to separate myself from it because I understand all of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
would be
series
brutal.
finale wouldn't make any sense either. So yeah, it's a good idea. I gotta research that a little bit more, and maybe once we hit the road this fall, we'll get it figured out. I think I have my fall tour dates finalized. We will announce that on Facebook sometime this week, but that's going to be fun. Live shows coming every weekend. No, you can't buy tickets to them because they're not actually real, but I like to advertise it anyways just to sound good. Anyways, well, this has been Quinn David Furness. This is my podcast. There was something else that I wanted to say, and I'm completely blanking on it, but that's okay. We'll figure it out later. Elon Musk, if you're out there. Jack Links, if you're out there. Victoria's Secret, I've been getting a lot of advertisements, catalogs, coupons from you guys, so I know you're interested. So you can always get in touch with me. I am at BeantownCast on Twitter. You can also email us. We are BeantownPodcast@yahoo.com. That's Beantown, BeanTown podcast @yahoo.com. Death Cab's new album comes out this week. Black Klansman just came out 3 days ago, so go check those out if you get time. I think Sharknado 3 or 4, whichever one is the final
the
one,
last
is
one.
like happening sometime this
The
week.
Meg.
So
Isn't that what it's called?
there's
No,
the
the
Meg
Meg
too.
too.
That's
Yeah.
different. Yeah, that's got.
There's a
that's
shark.
got
There's literally
Jason
a Sharknado.
Statham in it.
Yeah.
Oh
God.
Maybe we should have a podcast that's just for like accents. Could you do Jason Statham in South Africa? It would be fun. Anyways, we hit the 40-minute mark, and like Jesus wandering in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, I'm about to ascend up into podcasting heaven. That analogy didn't quite make it. Anyways, this has been Quinn David Furness. I want to give a special thanks to Ryan Ligon and Kristen English, co-hosts of the Car Ride Convos Podcast. Thank you guys for coming on. Always
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, next time they're going to come on, and I heard Say It With Love reunion might be.
Oh my gosh!
I would actually love that, because I'm the only person that's not cringed out by that era. And like I have thought about just like go back and like learn how to play the guitar and just like re-release the EP myself.
Version.
Acoustic or something. Just like do the EP myself or turn it into some sort of SoundCloud rap or some crap like that. They would unfriend me on Facebook if I did that, which would be so funny.
We were talking about Say It With Love and your stage presence when I was at your house a couple months ago. What were we saying about it? I don't remember.
Basically, so I had this guy who I really respected come and see my first show. I think it was my first show. It was the first show that wasn't in the basement of a house, okay? So he came. I think you were there. You went there with somebody. You were on a date, and... yeah, exactly. And he came, and I was like, so what did you think after the whole performance was over? And he was like, you're a really good front man. And that was it. That was the only thing he had to say, which, I mean, like, that's valid. That was a valid, I totally got what he was saying, like he was like, on the spectrum of stand-up comedian or Bono, you should become a garbage man, so that's kind of, I mean, I get it, so it's fine.
Say It With Love, do you know if you guys have any like remnants of your band anywhere on the internet, YouTube or something?
Check us out on YouTube. You can put in Say It With Love, and let's see, I think you can search in that actual concert, that
basement concert.
It was a church concert, I think.
I think the one that's on YouTube was the basement concert, wasn't it?
Not in my house, no.
No, not in your house. It was in somebody else's basement.
Was it? I don't know.
Find out
something. Yeah, there's a lot of good songs. You just realize that we didn't really know how to write songs properly, so there's a lot of weird transitions and stuff, and very strange. You learn that I can't sing, which, I mean, that's not really like a revelation, but it exists.
I think I'm going to have to do some more specific searching, because Say It With Love is not bringing up good results.
We found it the other day. I can't remember what it was.
Put in Say It With Love, like Dress to Kill or something like that. See,
I tried Say It With Love Ligon, and it didn't change the results at all.
This was, I think, before YouTube tags, and I think when they were uploaded, there's no tags on them and stuff, and they're super difficult to find.
Here we go.
Okay, there we go. There's some...
So if you do Say It With Love...
Don't do this one, though. Go to a different one. Go to one of our originals.
If you go Say It With Love, Dress to Kill, the second hit is Say It With Love Music. 46 views, soon to be 47 now.
That's like Car Ride Convos Lover, except for like that took like 8 years to 12 years ago.
Then there's the Say It With Love Music channel, which has 2 subscribers, now has 3 subscribers. You're welcome,
baby.
Are you the one in control of that account? Do you know?
Absolutely not.
Oh boy, there's like 6 videos up here. Say It With Love intro. We're gonna have to watch that after this video.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That wasn't it was whatever. Yeah, there's a Facebook page. I wasn't in control of any of this stuff, which was good because I would have said a lot of stupid stuff on there. So, but it really would have rocketed me as a social media influencer.
Absolutely. All right, we got to go because we got a lot of YouTube videos to watch. Anyways, for the final time, this has been Quinn David Furness, joined by Ryan Austin, Ligon, and Kristen English. I just called you by your Facebook name. That was weird. I do that sometimes.
That's fine.
And thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed our Ramble-tastic stuff. If you've never been to Rockford, Illinois, that's probably a good thing. And we'll come to you next week, maybe with a Jack Links rep, maybe not. We'll keep you updated on Facebook. Anyways, like, share, retweet, subscribe, rate. We're up to 35 stars now on iTunes, which is 34 more than Bill Burr has, so that's pretty good. No, Bill, I know you're listening to this. I love you. So hit me up at my Twitter. Anyways, we'll check in on you next week.